Citizen Kane, but even critics have claimed that it was shit in its day. Some films are shit and shit they will stay, but some get better over time because of Nicolas Cage. So which film stays shit forever? And which one's got a little bit better? Second chance movies. No poor bloods were harmed in the making of this podcast.
Welcome to Second Chance Movies, the podcast where we rewatch movies and decide if they deserve a second chance.
I'm Joe Harper, your host who loves rewatching movies, and I enjoy eating pineapple on my pizza.
And I'm Jessica Quaz, your host who's a one and done kind of movie viewer who just had pineapple on her pizza 2 nights ago.
Is it for the first time?
Yeah. No. The
Oh.
first time I've ever had it was actually with you. You ordered pizza when I was there and put pineapple on it, and I tried it and it was amazing. But yeah, we had some pineapple pizza like 2 nights ago. It was great. Yeah, well, we're talking about pineapple on pizza because today we're giving a second chance to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Secrets of the Ooze.
Yes, finally. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. If maybe so, just because I've watched it probably the most out of any movie since I've been watching it just since its creation in the 90s. And the reason we are watching this movie is because it is my birthday like a month ago. And I selected this one to force Quaz to watch it.
That's right. And I very willingly watched it.
Oh, good. Yeah, nobody's been talking about this movie. It's not in the news. But what is in the news, they just dropped a new Ninja Turtles video game in Shredder's Revenge, and I've been playing that a lot.
Fun.
I love it. It's like arcade,
Oh, okay.
but like, slightly better graphics and just like so much nostalgia, so many like Easter eggs just sprinkled throughout. You can play up to 6 people at a time. Great game.
Nice. That sounds like a great time. All right. Well, before we get started with this episode talking about Secrets of the Ooze, Joe, let's talk about some things we recently gave a first chance to.
So this week I've been on a Pixar binge. So a lot of the movies haven't really necessarily been new to me. Half of them are and half of them haven't. I got to see Lightyear in theater. And I finally watched Turning Red without falling asleep through it. So I was proud about that.
So I actually recently watched Turning Red as well. I have not seen Lightyear yet. I've heard a lot of hot takes on Lightyear though. So what were your thoughts? Which one did you enjoy more out of the two?
Oh, by far Turning Red over Lightyear. Lightyear's a good movie if it wasn't a Buzz Lightyear movie. If it was, it should have been like Star Command the movie and just been about Buzz and his crew. I feel like the biggest thing for me is Pixar did not understand the assignment that they gave themselves, or made it way too confusing for everyone, or maybe everyone is just way too stupid for this. They have a really easy brief note right at the beginning that just says, Andy in 1995, a boy named Andy saw this movie and was inspired to get the toy. This is that movie. Very simple. But like when I watch the movie, I do not get a sense of like, I need to go rush out and get me a Buzz Lightyear. I need to rush out and get Socks the cat because he was adorable. He just doesn't feel like the action hero that is played up in Toy Story 1 and 2.
Okay.
That is one of the movies I watched this week was Toy Story 2. I watched Bug's Life, and I watched Onward, and then the other 2 Pixar movies. So I was full Pixar this week.
Yeah, that sounds like a very wholesome, precious viewing experience this week for you.
Yeah. So yeah, Lightyear is not a bad movie. It just, from the premise, what we get and what we already know from our Buzz Lightyear lore, I just don't think that's the movie that Buzz Lightyear the toy is based off of, or just like, oh, that was it. I don't know, man. I feel like you missed all the things you guys set up yourself.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think the way you put it of they didn't understand the assignment they gave themselves kind
Yeah,
of puts it from what I've heard. So
because like I love all the designs of everything. I like the idea of like time travel kind of or that he does. I feel like this would have been a good sequel to the movie they assigned themselves. Like Star Command 2, Buzz is lost in space and he has to
mhm.
find his way home. Like that's the movie we should have. I don't know. What did you think of Turning Red? I'm very curious because you mentioned last night what should I watch, and I gave you a list and you ignored it all.
I
And like
did.
I'm gonna watch Turning Red. I'm like, you know what? I fell asleep like 20 minutes. I was so tired the first time I watched it. I fell asleep and woke up and saw the last like 5 minutes. I was like, okay, well, I was really enjoying it, and then I fell asleep. I need to watch it, and if you're watching it, I might as well so we can talk about it.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed Turning Red. I thought it was really wonderful and cute and like had nice messages to it. Like I will say when I first started watching it, it was fun and it was delightful and it was kind of a unique story. And then what was interesting to me was as the movie kept going, the story kind of just got deeper and about something more serious. I really appreciated it, and I think I said something too last night that like if I had had this movie when I was younger, would have really like helped me as a kid process a lot of changes as a young girl and like my relationship with like my mother and the other women in my family and how that kind of the complexities you go through with that. Yeah, I really liked it, and the design was really fun. Some of the work they did within the movements of these characters was really incredible. And yeah, it got me. It really did.
I think this is one of those Pixar movies that has the most style that is just it's just fun. It's quick. It has a lot of like fun animation, like facial choices, the characters, really quick editing that just like has a very strong presence that like boom, this is in your face and here and like making bold choices. I really like all that. It loses me at the end because I didn't connect with the story, but like it's good that you did. Out of all the Pixar movies that have been released post COVID, this is number two in the list for me.
Okay,
Um,
what's number one?
nothing will beat Onward. Onward has bumped up to like my top five favorite Pixar movies.
Wow,
Um,
okay. I still
and
haven't seen it.
I think it's because I connect with like the sibling bonding. Yeah, that's my sister and I were texting all about it. I would send her a screenshot of the end. She's like, "No, I'm crying now."
Aw.
Like,
Aw.
yeah. And then she and I played Dungeons and Dragons together, so there's that element that's nice. I really feel like I connect to the Chris Pratt character in it a lot of like the like schlubby like deadbeat just older brother that no one takes seriously. I'm like, oh, I hate that I connect with this guy too much.
Well, I'm curious. I will probably check that out
That's the
sometime
next
soon.
movie for you to watch.
Okay, onward.
I would rewatch it just so we could text during it.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
So, is Turning Red the only thing you watched?
So two things that I watched. The first one, I think everyone watched, and that's the latest season of Stranger Things. Have you finished it?
I did finish it.
Okay. I I liked a lot of it. It's interesting that season 4 might be like their best season. Um there was some stuff in it. I will say that it wasn't perfect. It wasn't like full-blown perfect season like a lot of people kind of act like it is. Yeah.
I'm not shocked about it. Yeah, it's silly. It's silly. I like it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you not like about it so much?
I will say like the stuff with Hopper just felt like
Unnecessary.
yeah, so many times we'd have to go to him and be like,
We're
"We
in
know how
prison.
this is."
We're out of
Yeah.
prison. Let's go back to prison. Now we're out of and
Okay.
back.
Yeah, and like the storyline told me that like what they did mattered, but like as I was watching it, I was like, does it really
it
have
had
that much of a difference.
I don't think it affected anything, and because all of a sudden they're like, the kids need our help. How do you know that? You don't have cell phones.
Yeah. They're like, hey, if we kill this one monster, it's going to be a lot easier for the kids. Like, how does that make any? That doesn't.
How do you know what the kids are up?
up?
You don't know the kids are doing anything right now.
Yeah. What? Okay.
Joyce left Hawkins with no information of things that were happening.
No.
All she knew was, yeah, my son is actually it wasn't her son. I always fucking forget that Mike's not her kid.
Yeah.
She left when Mike is coming over to like bang her like adopted daughter. Like,
yeah.
what is happening?
I do like though that like the most boring characters were just like thrown into a van with a really fun new character and kind of forgotten about. Like that seems very fitting. Just get rid of them, kind of put them to the side and add someone we actually enjoy who hasn't been a part of the show at all.
What is the farts?
The movie that
the actor's name is it Eduardo Franco?
I think so. He was in that one movie.
Oh, he's in the package for sure.
That's what it was called.
He gets his dick cut off and he's hilarious and I need more of him.
I could not remember what that movie was called. I was talking with Carson about it and I was like, that is one movie that had we not been in a pandemic, I don't think I would have ever known about or watched.
Eduardo Franco. And he pops up in a lot of things here and there and he just steals every scene. Yeah. I need him in everything now. I think he is a perfect fit for Stranger Things, and I hope he continues to hang out with the gang for future episodes.
He's definitely was a highlight of the last season, as was Eddie Munson. I really liked him.
He's a good one.
And then just really quickly, I guess I'm having like a Steve Harrington moment because the other thing I watched was Free Guy, which that actor's in.
Oh, I was like, what are you talking? Oh yeah, he is like the hero of this story.
Yeah, he's got like a really big role in it, and I just really enjoyed it. It was really fun. It felt like a fresh story too, which was really cool. And
yes and no.
Okay.
Like it didn't feel super fresh, but also it did. Yeah, it did feel it.
I feel like there's not a lot of movies about NPC characters though.
Well, to me, it's just still the video game. We're in a video game. We're rules of a video game. So, like, that's where I say no. But, like, this is a fun spin on a new spin on those things.
Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it. I liked.
I think
it was fun.
What I like the most is the movie is marketed as if like Ryan Reynolds is like the main hero we're rooting for, where he's not really the main hero. We're rooting for Steve Harrington and Jodie Comer, right?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Those two are like we're like, wait, these are our main characters? I had no idea they were in this movie.
Right, yeah.
And I'm rooting for them.
Yeah.
And they just need the assistance of the NPC. I love it so much. It was fun.
It's really good. I really, really enjoyed it. So watch it for some fun.
We watched that on an airplane, which was probably a disservice, but whatever.
You still
it
saw
was the best airplane movie I've ever seen.
That's fair. Yeah, no, that sounds like a really entertaining airplane movie.
You know what the worst airplane movie I've ever seen?
Old.
Well, I guess movie on an airplane. That was that same trip, but it wasn't awful. It was just not great.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man 2. I turned it off. Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I was going to ask which two. Okay.
Amazing Spider-Man 2. I go, oh no, I'm done with this. I don't care how it ends. Speaking of sequels, let's talk about Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze.
Let's get into it. So, Joe, you've seen this movie, like you said, many, many, many times throughout your life.
Yeah, like 100.
Okay, 100 plus times in your life.
Yeah.
Do you happen to remember the first time you saw Secrets of the Ooze?
I sure don't. I don't know if it was in theaters because I probably would have been too small for the theaters, but I definitely had it on VHS and I watched the hell out of it on VHS. So much so that I know like all three like trailers that played beforehand. I know them all by heart. Like I know this movie by heart. Which
you can see in our Edge of Tomorrow episode Joe recites the entire trailer for Big Girls Don't Cry They Get Even, aka Step Kids.
I did most of it. I was a bit rusty.
It was still pretty spot on.
It was still more than the average person can do.
Definitely. So I actually do remember my first time with this movie. Way back in the day. I don't know what year it was. I was really young, probably under 10, definitely. Yeah, I would say so. I watched this movie for the first time at a sleepover where we had a double feature with this and the Power Rangers live action movie with the original cast. Okay. Sick as hell. Such an iconic 90s childhood night.
Both of those are two good 90s kids movies.
Great pairing. I mean, yeah. And I just remember for this movie specifically, I remember us being like so happy and excited to watch it and like getting up and dancing to the Vanilla Ice song. The Vanilla Ice rap. Go Ninja.
You don't have to specify.
We know.
About.
But that was like all I remembered was just being like so into that song. The song still slaps. I mean, yeah.
Have you ever seen a turtle get down? I'm not gonna recite it all.
No, that's okay. I mean, it's truly Vanilla Ice's best work. No question.
Yeah. I mean, I think he'll agree too.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
I think he's actually a huge Turtles fan, which is why he was in that movie.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Vanilla Ice, so I didn't know that.
I only know that because there was like a mini doc about it.
That's cute.
I don't know if I call it a doc, but like a commercial where he talked about being in it. So enough about our first time. For those of you who do not remember this movie, and for those of you who do remember, just need a little refresher. Let me read what IMDb says is the synopsis. In case you don't know what the Ninja Turtles are, there are 4 mutant turtles that all have like ninja abilities. Let me read the summary. The Turtles and the Shredder battle once again, this time for the last canister of the ooze that created the Turtles, with which Shredder wants to unleash an army of new mutants. I don't think this is a good synopsis of this movie.
Sure.
Army is the wrong word.
Yeah.
Not an army of mutants. He just wants to, like some mutants. He wants to use the ooze to create mutants that will defeat the Turtles.
Yes.
Done.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about this movie. So
we sure are.
If you haven't checked this movie out, it's been out for like 30-ish years. Sorry, we're talking about it. Let's hear what the critics had about their first time. All right. Rotten Tomatoes. I always like giving this Rotten Tomatoes. I guess not shocked by this, but I'm just saddened by this.
Oh, okay.
The tomato meter is at 35%, and the audience score is at 67. Now, that's really low. It hurts my heart because I love it. I give it 100%.
Like I would say, like, it makes perfect sense that there's a massive critical and audience disparity between that. I agree. I don't love it, but like I get it because this is a type of movie, especially in the 90s, that critics would like turn their noses at. And audience would be like, this is fun, this is rad, fuck it. So it's stupid, but I get it.
It's weird for me because as a young child of the 90s, Ninja Turtles was like one of the number one thing in my eyes in my life. So like I understand why I like it, and I could see a lot of people my age really like leaning towards this and loving this. Like adults, I just can't imagine them hating Turtles because they're so pure and silly and goofy. What are you hating on this movie for?
Yeah,
like, the premise itself is weird, so you're either in or you're out. Like,
it's very true, but critics will find a way.
I wish I could watch this movie with like a blank slate, not knowing what Ninja Turtles are. Like that to me would be wild.
Yeah, this movie would be a weird time, I feel like. I have multiple reviews. Let's start off with a positive, though. let's be nice to the turtles.
Yeah, we better be nice to those turtles.
I will start off with a rather pretentious positive review, though, because we were just talking about those critics being wild. Lloyd Bradley with Empire Magazine. This lacks the darkness and subtlety that makes the first film so good and so adult, but its simplified plot and gags will appeal to the under 10s.
As a Turtles fan, I think the community is divided with which one is the better movie. And it's me versus everyone else. Because everyone is like, the first one's so good because it's dark and adult. Okay, fuck off. This one is better because it's light and goofy. That's what I like. I like the fun atmosphere. It's silly. It has way more like jokes in it that I still quote to this day. The first one's good, but I don't have the connection to it like I do this sequel.
Yeah. I mean, well, no, that makes sense though, because as a kid, you're gonna probably want something more like light and humorous and action. So like you're gonna fall in love with it more as a kid.
When we talk about action, this movie has little to none of it.
That's true. But the imagery looks exciting and fun.
It does. Well, I mean, the reason we don't have action in this is because of the first movie. All the parents were like, they're using weapons. That's bad and violent. So you know what happens in this movie? They take all the weapons away. They still own them, but like they never use the weapons except for like Leonardo, instead of like cutting people at the beginning, he throws them up in the ceiling, holds them, does a pull up and kicks somebody. And like I watched it with two friends this time around, and I pointed that to them. They'll never use those weapons on anybody.
Yeah.
Wait, what? No, they don't. Not once do they use their weapon to fight anyone. Fucking parents ruin everything.
They just don't understand.
Fucking ninjas. What do you... Whatever. They're also mutant turtles. Just punch everyone. I played the video game. All right, Dave Kerr of Chicago Tribune. One finds in them the same unabashed enjoyment of color and movement, of spectacular athletics and outrageous stunts that animates the Hong Kong action cinema as a whole and makes it so superbly entertaining.
Damn, he went in about how this is art.
Whoa. This is not the take I had on it.
No.
But I don't disagree with anything.
No, he thought about it. All right, Donna Britt with the Washington Post. The second TMNT has enough jokes aimed at adults to make for a relatively painless outing for parents forced to take their kids to see it.
That was backhanded.
I know, Donna, that was really rude.
One of my favorite jokes from this movie is when they're sneaking in to save Raph, and they're like, it's quiet. Yeah, a little too quiet. And then they beat up a foot soldier in there. That was easy. Yeah, a little too easy. And then they see Raph and they go, oh, it's Raph. Yeah, a little too Raph. It's so stupid and it's hilarious. As a kid, I flew over my head. Like, that's not a joke. That is Raph. As an adult, I just love that line so much. And I'll say that with everything. If someone goes, hey, it's this, I'll go, yeah, a little to this.
It's interesting though, because Donna makes that out to be like a bad thing. Like, if you take your kid to see this, you won't want to die. But like, it's pretty cool that you could watch something so young and have a different experience from when you do as you get older. That's great.
Or you watch it young and you still have the same experience as an adult. You feel young again.
Yeah,
Turtles.
That's sweet. That's nice.
Kevin Carr of 7M Pictures. This is one of those rare sequels that actually lives up quite nicely to the original. I do think this is one of the better sequels of all time.
Whoa, okay. Fuck Godfather 2. We're talking Secrets of the Ooze.
Yeah.
I will say I agree that like with a lot of passage of time as well, like this movie is still just as relevant, if not more, than the first one.
All right. Marjorie Baumgarten of Austin Chronicle. The production values are wonderful, due in large part to the work of animatronic puppeteers and Jim Henson's Creature Shop, and the script is quick and funny. Thanks, Marjorie. I agree.
Yeah, Marjorie, I agree with all that too. Yes,
The animatronics look real. Like,
it looks really good.
even in my like mid 30s, I'm looking at these and not once do I question if it's real or not.
Yeah,
I think these are real things.
I
I
mean,
don't ever
yeah.
think this is a guy in a puppet suit. It looks like the mouths just move well, the eyes, everything's so expressive.
It is. The movements are just they flow really well, and just the you're right. Like there's a added part of realism to them that like I buy it even now, even though I know how they're getting them to move, how they're doing all these things. I still feel like yeah, these are the turtles.
There's like a guy offset with like a huge remote control that is just making a move. It's
That's
wild.
crazy. Yeah, no,
Even
it
like the
looks good.
giant like wolf monster Razar, he's just like drooling. It just looks so natural and get gross. I love it.
All right. Well, it's going to be probably your least favorite part of the episode, but let's move on to some negative reviews.
You know what? You can read these. I'm just gonna go in the other room. I don't want to hear them.
I'll call you when we're done.
Just be you reading them to yourself. No, that's yeah. I, guys, I'll bite the bullet for everyone. I'll listen to some negative things about turtles.
All right. Well, we'll try to make this as painless as possible, I suppose.
Okay.
All right. Desmond Ryan with Philadelphia Inquirer wrote, "The plot of Turtles 2 hinges on toxic waste, and that turns out to be a pretty accurate description of the film."
That's so rude.
I
Um,
know.
there is a part in when they're disposing the waste I've always thought was really stupid. It's them using the computer and just seeing everything like all the canisters if they are active or disposed. And Don is just on the disposed, and it's just scrolling and it doesn't match what he's typing. And it's all obviously it all says disposed next to each one very clearly. It's just 90s technology. It's like, okay, guys, we get it. Oh wait, there's one that's active, but then it's like takes up half the screen. Yeah, God, this was made for children. I know. Plus, it's the 90s. No one knows what computers are.
Exactly, yeah.
Stephen Hunter of Baltimore Sun. The plot, as primitive as it is, still isn't very clear. It never acquires the spontaneity or the force of a true story, but seems to exist mainly as a pretext for familiar ninja banter so beloved of the cult, as in Cowabunga dudes and such forth.
Wow, that was mean. That was like really brutal.
Yeah. I feel like it's an easy story to follow along,
I
Steven.
think too. Yeah, I don't think it's like like mixed up. Like I understand what's happening.
Yeah, they're shutting down they're cleaning up the ooze that had been disposed, and they're just missing one, or there's one vial left, and Shredder and the gang want to get it.
Boom, there you go.
And Turtles want to prevent that from happening because they don't want what happened to them to happen to anyone else.
There you go. I mean, that's I get that. Yeah.
Cowabunga, dude.
Cowabunga. So I want to actually like get your objective take on this because I don't know as much as you do about the comics. So Stephen Ray with Entertainment Weekly said, "Neither as fun nor as faithful to the spirit of the original comics. It's a bigger, slicker movie, but not a better one."
So I'm familiar with the comics. I've read some of them. They're definitely more of an adult tone. It was Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. They're just fucking around trying to make each other laugh and drew a turtle that was dressed up like a ninja. and just went from there. And the idea snowballed. I think they're also trying to make fun of like Daredevil, I think is that lore. So yeah, this is this is more similar to the 80s 90s cartoon that is just goofy, whereas the first movie is kind of more the comics. Whatever, we have so many iterations, and since then we've had multiple iterations of Turtles, and they all have a place in this world.
Yeah.
Some are far better than others. I think my favorite Turtles property, besides this movie, is the 2012 Nickelodeon show. Just it's cute. They make them feel more teenage than anything else. Everything else, I thought they felt like adults. And then they also have so many callbacks to the movies, to the 80s show, to the comics. They get actors that did the voices to voice other characters and just reference so many things. And I think there's a lot of love that's put into that 2012 one.
That sounds really fun. That sounds like definitely a nice piece of fandom.
James Sanford of Kalamazoo Gazette. If a Vanilla Ice cameo is a highlight, imagine what the rest of the film was like.
Okay, first of all,
it means the movie is perfect. That's what it means.
I'm sorry. That is a funny take. That's a funny take. It's a funny take.
Objectively,
it's a funny take. However, it's okay. Anyone, not to discredit Vanilla Ice's beautiful song, beautiful contribution, but could have been anyone on that fucking stage singing that song. I was not there for Vanilla Ice. I was there for the whole vibe.
See, I disagree. I think Vanilla Ice is the only person for it. Okay. It's perfect.
Okay, fair. All right.
Is he the highlight of the movie? No, I don't think he's the highlight, but he's definitely a highlight.
That song it slaps. I mean, how are you gonna argue? It's great, it's fun. To me, it's not him that's the highlight, it's the whole scene, it's the whole dance, it's the whole club, it's all of it. The song, that's it. It's great.
The two people they randomly meet that get up on the stage.
I mean, to me, it's just as comparable as Celine Dion being a highlight of Titanic. Like, truly, it's like the two are one,
Yeah. Yep. Vanilla Ice is to TMNT2 and Celine Dion is to Titanic.
Absolutely. Everybody, stop what you're doing immediately, because Hollywood's sassiest bitch came in with a hot take of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Secrets of the Ooze. And in my opinion, as someone who's read many a Roger Ebert criticisms, this may be his most wild take on a movie.
I'm just surprised he watched this.
He sure watched it. He definitely did. And he really went there with some thoughts.
Let's just hear it.
All right. Roger Ebert from the Chicago Sun-Times said, "Today's kids are learning from the Turtles that the world is a sinkhole of radioactive waste, that it's more reassuring to huddle together in the sewers than to take your chances competing at street level, and that individuality is dangerous. Cowabunga."
He read into this movie too deeply.
So hard.
So
hard.
They're not thinking like, hey, this is going to win an Oscar. What is the deep metaphorical meaning behind turtles? What is it to be a turtle? Like, no one's thinking that.
No one is thinking like, you know what? Their lives within the sewers speaks to how I, as a person, just want to bury myself in a sewer, because it's easier to do that than to fight on top of the world. Like, Roger, what? Like, no, I'm sorry. I don't think anyone went into this movie to shape the minds of kids. I think they just wanted to make money and have a good time.
Do you think he liked this movie more or North?
Where he said, I hated North.
Where do you draw the line in the sand, Roger?
Damn.
Oh, no.
That's a hot take, truly. All right. So, Joe, we know you love the turtles, you love this movie, but let's just try to be a little bit objective when talking about our second chance. So this was actually, I believe, my like if not total second, at least the first time watching it since childhood.
Okay.
So this was first time adult me ever watched it. Probably may have been my second time. I'm not sure. And I gotta say, like I did try to be, a little critical, like have a, an eye for what's going on, be objective. But I still, as a 90s kid, I enjoyed the hell out of it. I thought it was fun. I had a good time watching it. There's very few complaints on my end. I don't know if I have a biasy. I don't know if I'm being biased. I have no idea. But let's get into, first off, let's just clear any negative out of the way. What are some things that maybe you don't like or that you would maybe change? We don't even have to say that you wouldn't like. As the super fan here, what are some objective things that you go, maybe that's not the best?
Okay. So, um, ooh, as someone who is a huge Turtles fan and was a huge Turtles fan of like the cartoon, the thing that's weird for me is they make a movie where Shredder is creating two mutants and they don't choose Bebop and Rocksteady is wild. What a wild choice. And I haven't read this is one of those movies I don't think I've read anything behind the scenes. I don't know why they didn't choose Bebop and Rocksteady.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, okay. Jesus Christ. Well, in the cartoon, Shredder has two like mutant thugs, Bebop and Rocksteady. That is essentially like a warthog pig and a rhino. Those are his two, right? They're in like every other Ninja Turtles thing. They're the first 3 levels of the new video game.
Okay.
And then another level like 7 as well.
Okay.
They come back.
So they're like very iconic villains.
They're like the most 80s cartoon. They are super recognizable. Yeah, they're in every episode.
Okay.
Probably not every, but the majority. If Shredder's around, he's got Bebop and Rocksteady as his number 2 goons. Again, it's not like in their like pilot or first or second episode. He creates 2 mutants to help fight turtles. Just he gets these 2 guys that are too fucking stupid. Whereas these 2 are just Toko and Raza are just babies.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't know any better.
Yeah.
Master, say have fun. Fun. The babies. Love that one. So I think not having them is weird. Although I love Toko and Raza so much. NECA made these beautiful toys of them recently. These like released in the last like 2 years. They're so accurate. They also can like move his little eyebrows.
Oh whoa! Oh wow! Yeah.
Whoa!
Whoa!
Ned. Very posable. This back is so sharp.
Damn.
Ow.
Yeah.
It hurts to touch. Razar has. I don't think you can hear it or see it, but he's got like little metal chains on him.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. Again, his mouth looks super gross. Bruh. Hi, Jessica. These things are just, and they're huge. Super 7 also released a line of Ninja Turtles toys that look really good for they designed them after like the 80s toys and just like the scale of these guys. Great. Love it.
Okay.
Toko and Raza are awesome. I like them.
So you like them, but maybe could have had a different,
I
more
think it's a weird
iconic villain.
choice that they didn't include those two, because the Michael Bay produced ones do put them in the sequel.
Okay.
Finally, we get them a live action version of Bebop and Rocksteady. So that's one thing I could say is just odd. I think it's weird. Again, this is the turtle fan in me. The TCRI scientist is not Baxter Stockman, which is another like recognizable turtle name. Like, let's pull all the names from all the things we already know instead of creating too many new characters. Like, it's weird we don't have Casey Jones, especially because he was in the first one with April, but we get this new kid Kino, who's not in any of the other stuff. So, but I like Kino. So Kino is a bit sexist, which makes me laugh in some of these. Keep on dreaming, dweeb. Yeah, but I'll dream of something a little thinner. What a piece of shit. Really put me on the spot to just tear this movie apart. I don't want to do this. Yeah, I think just connect it more to like this, or like a lot of more Easter eggs, I guess.
Okay, that makes sense.
Which is the thing I think everyone complains about now. Like, oh, too many comics things in Marvel. No, that's what we like.
Yeah.
Sequels and stuff, and because Baxter Stockman, if he was the scientist, eventually would have become a giant fly monster.
Whoa, okay.
That's part of the toys in the 80s. I'm going to reference a lot of the 80s usually when I'm talking about this.
Okay. I will say one thing that I don't love about this movie is this April. I just find her to like kind of be weird and like very uptight, but not in like a understandable kind of way. Like she comes off as a wet blanket kind of, in a way that's just kind of like annoying. And then when she's not like that, she's just kind of there.
I mean, they are really messy in her apartment. She's being a really nice friend, like, hey, you guys can stay here. I know it puts me in a whole lot of danger because the Foot Clan destroyed your last place, and if they find out you live here with me, they're gonna destroy my place. And if it's the same continuity, which it is, we just replaced the actress in between. They burned down her like old apartment.
Oh,
in a new apartment. Yeah, the foot soldiers attack her place and burn it to the ground that she lived above her like the old dad's pawn shop. Or I don't remember because I barely watched the first one. That's one I don't rewatch. This one I watch almost on a yearly basis.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like her vibe. I feel like most of the time she's like being, I guess, with all that context, like bothered by the turtles, but then she's also pretending like she's not bothered. Like it's very passive aggressive and weird, and I just don't super care for her.
Yeah, it is weird trying to like. I think it's one of those things where they're like, well, we have to include April because we need a human character and we need a girl since there's 4 boy turtles. I guess she could be reporting something, and like they really are stretching like her. She's reporting on, like, I get that she'd be reporting like, hey, there's a spice, here's a scientist, they're doing something great, but then she keeps like diving into it, and I'm like, this is not necessary.
Yeah, I think it just feels like she's just sort of there.
She's like almost plays detective for another scene, talking to her boss. I'm like, what's going on? Let's get back to turtles.
Doesn't add a ton.
Have April party with the turtles and like eat pizza, and then when they're like, we're about to fight, she'll be like, cool, I'm just gonna hang out with Splinter.
Yeah.
I don't want to fight.
Yeah. I will say another negative note that I have is that the human to human interactions are super awkward. It's like the most awkward thing about this movie. But the human to turtle interactions are fine.
Do we include Shredder in the human to human? Or is he like otherworldly? Okay.
Otherworldly. Yeah. So like it's just, I noticed that like whenever
Kino and April.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that's what I'm thinking about is like just there's some like we don't obviously get a ton of it because it's a Ninja Turtles movie, but anytime that there is like a human to human conversation happening, it sticks out to me because it's like humans do not talk like this or act like this. Like, what is happening? Like, did
I
y'all
think
just get used to working with animatronics that you forgot how to talk to another human being? Like, I don't really know.
it's super weird when I think they're hiding out at some point, or they're back at April's, like thinking about their next step, and the door knocks, and they're like, "Who the fuck is this?" And then it turns out it's Kino. Oh, someone ordered a pizza, and you ordered a lot of pizza, so I'm just thought you'd have it. And then like walks in. She's like, yeah, I didn't invite you. Can you leave, please? And he's like, well, I'm just checking out the plate. Like, what are you doing? Deliver your pizza and leave.
Who does that? People don't do that.
No, but in like, I don't know. He's so weird about it. And then sees the turtle foot, and his first instinct is, I'm gonna stomp on it.
Yeah.
What? I want Raph to like just fucking deck him. Like, nah, man, fuck you, stepped on my foot.
I think there's like I get it. We're giving a lot of time to our creatures, if you will. But if we just spend like a couple extra minutes on the humans, just to make them like a little more normal, it wouldn't stick out as much to me.
Yeah, I don't want to say any more negative things about
Yeah.
them. I'll comment if you bring them up, but I won't. I think the biggest thing in my eyes is I want more things pull more stuff from the show, especially if it's like right at your fingertips. The reason is probably because they probably don't have the rights to it.
Oh yeah, that's a really good point. Maybe.
You know, they're probably like, we can't do it because you can't have the same thing. Plus, if we make a new thing, it can be more toys.
Right.
Oh, I
Okay.
didn't think about it that way. Yeah. More.
All right. Well, moving on to some things we did like.
Whole thing.
While trying to be objective still.
I'm very objective. It's objectively a perfect movie.
So we kind of talked about within our reviews that there was no weapons used in this movie because it really freaked out the parents from the first movie.
The critics' consensus off IMDb. No, I think this was Rotten Tomatoes. Not only is the movie's juvenile dialogue unbearable for adults, but the turtles' dopey and casual attitude towards physical violence makes them poor kids' role models.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Again, a little too deep into thinking about it, if you ask me. I will say though, like as stupid as that is, because I think that's a dumb argument. It's Ninja Turtle, whatever. I think that the hand-to-hand combat scenes are actually really fun to watch. Like it works out in a certain way. Like I like the big goofy fight with all the foot soldiers, like when they're trying to like dispose of the ooze, the lab, like all that. I like that. I like the junkyard. Like
that scene is so stupid.
It's so stupid.
Okay, I'll critique this
fun.
one.
Okay,
so,
go ahead.
The friends I was watching with, because the foot soldiers come in, they take the canister of ooze. We cut up to the turtles on the roof. They get there late. They get there. They check the computer. Dispose. And then the foot soldiers show back up just to fight the turtles. Somebody was like, why don't they just leave? They had what they came for. Why did they stick around and fight the turtles to lose the ooze just to get it back? And they're like, now they got it. Ninja vanish and just disappear. Why did you fight them? Because it was like, 10, 15 minutes without a fight. We needed one.
Right.
And the set there is a really weird, like, blank room with like this like pyramid thing in the middle with like weird light tubes around it. It's so weird. I like it a lot, but it's weird.
I agree. It is weird. But I see, like, that's the thing about this movie, and this is not objective at all. Even the weird stuff, even the things that like are so odd and kind of silly, like they're just fun. Like they're just really fun to watch.
In that sequence, Donatello, when they play hot potato with the ooze, he gets it and he gets on top of a rolly chair. Surf's up, dude! Like being silly. And the foot soldier's like, okay, and they lay on the ground and put a stick. And he, oh! He hits it and flies. And I'm just like, that's the kind of things that I think is fun. It's really stupid, but God, it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Um,
that's just kind of sums up mostly how I feel about this movie.
I think the beginning sequence is fun.
Yeah, I do too.
Where Kino is delivering a pizza to, I don't know, I think it was probably the turtles. It's very unclear and it's not
yeah.
stated, but I'm pretty sure the turtles were just like, hey, we want a pizza. Let's put it at this mall. Maybe the turtles knew that there was a robbery happening. I'm going to call them the Pantyhose Gang because I don't know anything else to call them. They just have pantyhose all over their face. But like the turtles are there to stop and fight them, but they also ordered a pizza and they took the pizza, they paid for it. Was it their I don't know. I don't understand how the sequence of events. But Kino tries to fight a few of them. But I like the turtles fighting. Like they use so many fun things. Mike uses a yo-yo. Donatello has that clown dummy he pushes and then does it himself. Like pretends to be like a dummy you could just push and bounces back. Leonardo, I've already said, does the jump pull up with his feet. Yeah, there's a lot of silly things that they use, a lot of creative ways to fight without using their weapons because the weapons were a no-no.
And I think that actually did end up working well. Like the lack of weapons forced some creativity. That is really fun.
What the thing I think would fix it again if this was not made in the 90s but made rebooted it like they kind of did, those foot soldiers should all be robots. And the reason why they should be robots is so Leonardo and Raphael can use their weapons to slash through and stab through.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Then that would feel like less violent to an audience member because it's not.
Gory, it's not a real person that's getting murdered. It's just a robot.
Yeah.
We don't care about robots. And turtles get to use their weapons because the foot soldiers are robots in the 80s cartoon, which is why they can slash through them and stab through them.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would have been that's a good way to fix it.
We can't just like stab Muckman in the face. That's rude. What? I like there's a junkyard scene where Kino is trying to infiltrate. Their one challenge to be initiated into the Foot Soldier clan is to take off as many jingle bells off of a dummy in under like I think it's like 30 seconds. It might be even like 10 seconds. It's enough for Raph to like take them all off. And then they're also super impressed that it happened. And I thought, doesn't every foot soldier have to do this? Did they only get like, oh, I got 3. Oh man, that's fucking great. And then, oh, he got all 50? Holy hell. I just thought it was weird. It's weird that that's their initiation. And they're also surprised that he did it successfully. That is not a word I can say. Successfully. I'm just reading my stupid notes, and when I was trying to nitpick. Kino passes out at the sight of Splendor, but not the turtles, who he has already seen before. He's not shocked by them, but when he sees the rat, he's like, oh,
right. That's what does it.
Toko and Raza are awesome. I like them a lot. I think it's stupid that they get another turtle. I think we should have chosen a second different animal, not another turtle, because then it makes Raza look super out of place. But I also think they look cute together, so whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what other animal would you do? A giant cat? That's 2 fur monsters. That's dumb. A fish monster? Then you have to have the logic of how does that fish breathe, you know?
Right.
A bird might have been better.
Okay, yeah.
What's a scary bird?
I mean, a lot. Like hawks are really weird. Crows are terrifying.
Oh yeah,
crows. Ooh. But that's not very kid friendly. That's like haunting your dreams kind of shit.
You watch Power Rangers. They had the Tengu monsters. Those things I thought looked. I mean, maybe they were like Oh, Power Rangers is doing their thing. No, this was filmed years beforehand. But yeah, I think that bird monster thing looked good. So
Yeah.
I just think they should have did something that wasn't another turtle.
Okay. Yeah. No, I see that. I think you're right that like they are enjoyable to watch, but we could have maybe done a little bit more there. I don't think. I mean, this is just going along the line with their villains. It's just another note I had. I don't think that Shredder looks very intimidating, and he doesn't have much going on in terms of a character in this movie. But that's like really forgivable for me because this movie is intended for kids. Like, we don't need our villain to look
And
terrifying.
our main attraction is Tokan Reza. They just look
Yeah.
more impressive.
Yeah.
Shout out to Francois Chow, who is Shredder, and he's also in Lost. I just shout out to all my Lost cast members out there. Love that show. I think it's super weird when Shredder turns Super Shredder because they don't fight him. They just
Yeah.
he just pushes down some posts under the pier and it collapses. The turtles had nothing to do with his downfall, and I hate that. When they come up with a plan to, hey, we found a way to like revert Toka and Razar back to wolf and snapping turtle, back to babies and not monsters.
Oh.
Let's create something to feed them. What's your first thought that the turtles would give Toka and Razar for them to eat?
As babies? Oh
No.
Oh.
We gotta hide this pill, is what we're doing, in food form.
Oh.
What food should we give them?
Like bread?
The turtles give them donuts. And my buddy was like, why don't they feed it in a pizza? That makes way more sense.
Oh, wow.
It's the
Yeah.
fucking turtles.
Yeah.
And I've never thought about that in my life. I've just like taken this movie as fact and just like, yep, they're gonna do it as donuts.
I mean, that just circles back to turtle lore. Yeah. Like,
why do you not? You have it there. Why are you not making it into pizza? We eat pizza all the time. You would like this.
I took that question like way too literally. Like, what would I feed an animal in real life?
No. If you were the Ninja Turtles and you wanted to give one
my
of your
favorite food, pizza. Yeah.
To trick someone into eating it, we love pizza. You would too. The first like minute of this movie, when they roll the credits, I love because it's just New Yorkers eating pizza, and it makes me hungry for pizza every time I watch it. Everyone's eating pizza. Even the cops that have arrested a criminal are eating a pizza. Pizza is the priority for everyone in New York.
Man, now I want some pizza.
Yeah. The turtles leave things around April's apartment. The rat is the cleanest one. I think it's my favorite April line.
I wrote down a quote and I don't remember what this means, but I wrote down, now I know what a postal package feels like.
Oh, now I know what a postal package feels like.
Why did I write that down?
Michelangelo gets thrown, and that's when he says that.
Oh, okay. I guess I found that funny.
Yeah. I think it's at the end. I think he gets tossed at the end.
Yeah, because this is towards the end of my notes that I wrote that.
It's right before they go into the Vanilla Ice Club.
Yeah, because that's where it is in my notes. So one note I have, and I don't expand upon it, so I don't know. The ending felt very abrupt.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Yeah,
that's all I wrote.
It's because, again, we have awesome Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
That leads to Shredder getting blasted by a speaker, and he has the vial of ooze, turns into Super Shredder, kills himself, and then the turtles just go back to their, because we survived because we're turtles and we went in the water, and they go back to the new subway. I don't know what to call it. It's not an apartment.
Home.
Layer's the better word. And Splinter pulls up a newspaper because they were at the club and there's proof of them. I don't know how he got it printed that quick.
Very quickly,
because that would have been like a couple hours. There had to have been a news reporter that was like, "Oh, cool! Run this to the newspaper right now. We have to print this."
Breaking news.
It is front page material. Enough That Splinter, who I don't think would have left the lair, got it delivered. Maybe he went and go, oh, it's 4 a.m. I need my newspaper. And, he shows it to him. And then 10 flips now. I like the doing flips.
Mm-hmm.
I love earlier in the movie when Mikey is pretending to do flips. He gets punished, and he off screen, 21, 22, and then the camera moves to him, and he's just jumping and clapping in place to make it sound like he's been doing the flips, and he gets punished and has to do more. And I love that. That's fun. I'll just read dumb lines that I think are really stupid. In the laboratory with the ooze, with the pipes and the tubes, it's like a video games in 3D. Yeah, that doesn't hold up well in 2022. That's the canister that had the ooze. Duh. So, consensus-wise, how do you feel about this movie? Do you think it deserves a second chance? Were the critics too rough? Are the fans too rough on it?
See, I can't speak too much about the fans because I'm, not in the diehard Turtles fandom. I think, yes, for sure, the critics were too hard. I think it definitely deserves a second chance. I think that if you enjoyed it as a kid, you'll enjoy watching it as an adult. It's just a fun, silly time. And if you go in with that in mind, just wanting to watch something just entertaining and fun, you're gonna enjoy it. So I think it absolutely deserves a second chance.
Good, me too.
Yeah.
As far as turtle fandom goes, I think we have the first one on way too high a pedestal, where I think both of these are equal. It just depends on if you like it darker, if you like it more mature, or you're like, yeah, I just want to have fun. This fits in the fun category. It doesn't take themselves too seriously, but the things they do take themselves seriously on, those fucking animatronics, and they are amazing. They still hold up today. I still believe those are real creatures. They're not people in puppet suits.
Yeah, definitely.
There's not a second in my mind that this is fake. I'm just in it. It's the Henson group just fucking killed it.
And I think that point alone is a really good reason to watch this movie again, just to actually watch it. And you don't even need to be that invested in it. Just to see it is really cool.
I also think it's just a fun family movie for all ages.
Yeah.
As an adult, you might, if you didn't really care about the Turtles, it's still visually fun. It's dumb as hell, but I like it a lot. And I think kids of all ages would just enjoy this. It didn't age poorly. I think it aged just okay. It's just fine. But I like it, and I think everyone should give it a second chance.
All right. Thank you for listening to another episode of Second Chance Movies. As always, you can find us wherever you listen to your podcast, as well as on YouTube for a visual experience. If you're doing that, please leave us a review, rate, subscribe, all those things. It really, really does help. It goes a long way. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Letterboxd. We're on a lot. So if you want to follow us and have more of a conversation outside of the show, you can find us there. A big thank you, as always, to Beaty McBeatface for our super fun and dope theme song. And we'll be back again very soon with another Second Chance movie.
Babies! They're babies! Yeah!
Second chance move.